assure you, there are many. And you can go to our website, by the way, teamtancredo.org or .com. They got them both for me because they know I forget them all the time. Mix them up. So they got both .org, .com, Team Tancredo, and we have a relatively, hopefully, a relatively good explanation of what the fair tax is and why I support it.
And we share your views on the fair tax. I think Steve Scheffler now would like to go through the other questions with you.
Congressman, I think I know the answer to this, and you did state your support of a federal marriage amendment. The question here says, will you promise as President to enforce the Defense of Marriage Act, better known as DOMA, which was passed by Congress to prohibit any federal recognition of same-sex unions?
Absolutely. And my friends, this is an interesting and challenging issue from a variety of standpoints. You know, the government may actually have no role in deciding who you care about, you know, and I understand that, but it has an absolute role. I mean, I have a moral issue in that regard with the whole concept, but from the standpoint of the state, it has a responsibility. It's a very significant and important responsibility to affirm the concept of marriage between, as I said, a man and a woman. And by the way, I have to add, one man, one woman. You know, we're getting these strange new things entered into the whole lexicon of marriage anymore. It's not just like a man and two women, or it's like, well, what would we do with 4 men and 6 women if they all wanted to kind of get married and have the, I mean, really, it's turning into this bizarre discussion. That's why I say one man, one woman. That's what marriage is all about. And what the government's role is to affirm that, because it has an interest in it, because it is through marriage that the conditions for procreation, the continuation of the state, and by the way, that procreation, hopefully in a healthy environment where children can grow up in a healthy environment. Sometimes it's not a healthy environment. I know that. But for the most part, this idea, you know, this nuclear family idea and concept, societies have gravitated toward it over the years for a reason. It works. It works well. It works for it works for the continuation of your society. And that's why the state has an absolute right to say, this is what's important and this is what we're going to preserve.
Thank you, Congressman. I know number 4 you've addressed very clearly. But again, I guess, will you insist on building the 700-mile fence? Called for the Secure Fence Act, implement an entry-exit system to make sure that visitors go home on time, and implement an electronic instant employer verification system.
Oh, let me think about that one.
I just wanted to be fair.
I know. No, of course, and I'm just being facetious. Of course I will, and I guess I would say I want to go a little farther than that. 750 miles of fence? We've got 2,000 miles of border down there. You know, no, I want a fence along the whole thing, and then I want to start on the northern border as soon as we get done. And then I want to put, and by the way, the next speaker, Duncan Hunter, should be really thanked, because that chunk of border fence that we have, and I think Duncan's next, I'm not sure, but that chunk of border fence that we actually have now in San Francisco, it's been there a while, that's something he created, and we can point to it and show that it works. And I'm sure he'll probably talk about this, but it's a great example when people go, oh, a fence and everything, you know, it won't work. It most certainly does. It most certainly does. You ask anybody on either side of that fence down there today if they want it taken down, nobody would do it. Nobody wants it removed. It has improved the quality of life on both sides. That fence should extend that whole border, and we should back that up if we have to with the human resources necessary. And if that's Border Patrol, it's Border Patrol. If it's the National Guard, it's the National Guard. We should train our active duty military on our borders to defend our borders, because that's where they're going somewhere around the world to defend somebody else's. I'm sorry. I could get off on that one for a while, but I will restrain myself.
Congressman, I also know you addressed this last question of ours, number 5, in terms of stem cell research. The one question I guess I need to ask you with some definity from you is, will you actually veto
Yes.
any taxpayer financing?
I most certainly will. And, you know what's happened in this stem cell research debate? It's really interesting. As technology has developed, and as it has become apparent that there is absolutely no need to actually kill an embryo in order to achieve the information you need from stem cell research, they still press for the ability to kill the embryo, even though it's not necessary. We now know that we can achieve a lot of the same information because, again, technology is, through cord blood and even going into stem cells without hurting the embryo. We know we can do this. So why do they press so hard? Why was there a bill on the floor again and again and again to mandate that we spend money on embryonic stem cell research? It's because they want that embryo to be a worthless piece of mass, of nothing. You know what I mean? If it's something you can kill for this purpose, it loses value. And it's the abortion debate that goes on under the guise of a stem cell research idea. And they use every tactic. That's how dedicated they are. That's how dedicated they are to this whole idea of abortion, is that they will use every